All right. You're all set.
Okay, well, thank you much. And again, pleasure to be here. And if there's anyone joining us for the first time tonight, my name is Cheryl Cortezi. I'm a National Marketing Director with the Juice Plus Company, and have been here now for 34 years as of January. Looking to the next 34, I think that we've got a long way to go as far as just growth and energy and excitement. Uh, and really making a difference, as you know, you've heard tonight, really being the people who bring good things to other people. I think that in a world where we receive so much negative input, to be the positive that shows up is a great blessing to everybody you come across. And so realize the power of who you are and what you have to offer. I mean, I think that's huge in itself. Tonight, I wanted to do a few things. This is certainly meant to be an interactive call. And we're, you know, a good, strong group here, but we're not so huge. There are not 700 or 900 people on the line, which, you know, we have in some of our calls. So it could be interactive, but I just wanted to go over a few foundational thoughts as far as our business is concerned. And then I'd like to hear from some of you all. And maybe we'll kind of weave this in, these two things in together. First of all, we could say we're starting the new year, but we're already nearly to the middle of February. And so, but we look at this year, I look at the end of, you know, this last month, and this whole organization, our whole team, you know, it lifted. We held strong and steady all this past year, and then we've got a little bit of a, you know, an upsurge. We're in a really good place, and we're in a good place to for everybody to take advantage of, you know, their businesses being strong and stepping into, as you heard Beth say, and I think others tonight, you really want to play at a high level. And we, you know, we're definitely have everything in place to do that. But I just wanted to give you a few just foundational thoughts as far as my business, our business is concerned. You know, over the years, and certainly, as I said, there've been a few years here with 34 now. But, you know, someone will ask from time to time, well, why do you think the success? Or how did this happen? Or whatever. And I think, like so many people, I started certainly not expecting it to be what it grew to be. Today, as an organization, and it's part of your story as well as mine, it's our story, is that our organization does nearly $10 million worth of Juice Plus sales every month, if we look at our worldwide team. So something that was going to hopefully help my daughter buy a prom dress when she was a senior in high school, and help me send them to college and keep us above struggle, turned into basically a company, a business that produces multi-million in production as far as what we have to offer to others, as far as our sales as a team. Together we produce, you know, that huge amount. So if you think about it, all that production means that somebody somewhere in this organization has reached out to somebody else and made their lives better. So that number represents all of you stretching out to help other people have a better life. And we want that number to be bigger and bigger and bigger. And it doesn't mean that, you know, if we look at our marketing plan, we're not paid on that entire amount. Each person, it's all the way through the organization, people do well. But we want that number to grow and stretch out and support people, because it means that we have brought a better, healthier, stress-free, just a better life to people. And then if you look at the community that goes along with it, I mean, if I listen to all of you tonight, to Peter, to all of you that are sharing, and where Peter was concerned, listening to, you know, Beth has stayed close to him. She's a sponsor, but she stayed close, and yet his, you know, his life's taken many turns that were very difficult. And there were maybe times when he couldn't put full attention to his business, but the community was still there. And so there's a huge amount to offer, and you want to not only be proud of it, but you know, really stretch out and make that difference for others. So if we look at, you know, what makes this work, what what has to happen? I think that first of all, there's got to be real desire. You have to have a desire that there's something there that you want, that you either want to, for me, initially it was to step up out of financial fear. It was actually financial terror, if you want to know, but it was to step up out of financial fear. And then when you kind of get your breath and think, well, okay, I'm going to survive. It's going to be okay. What next? So you look at all those things then that become valuable to you in life. Being able to help others, being able to do things for your children or your family that maybe you didn't dream was possible, being able to share in other ways. So there's so many things that as time goes on, things change. And life presents us with many things that can be really happy, many things that can be very challenging, some that are very hard. But the community sustains. And the other thing I wanted to point out tonight is, you know, and I'm going to use Peter's story again, is he had a lot of things come along that were challenging, but we were still here. Beth was still there. You know, that didn't go away. And I think that's one of the things that's very important from a security standpoint, is that we've been here for a long time. We're going to be here for a long time to support people in many different ways. But to get back to the question, people asking, well, what do you think made the difference as far as the success? And I'm gonna share. I see Missy up on my screen, who, if you know me, you probably know Missy. There she is, waving. Okay, but Missy's been with me 33 of the 34 years, and basically, I guess you'd say, she makes everything happen from a standpoint of keeping us organized and on the right road, keeping the train on the tracks. But a number of years ago, someone asked her, well, what do you think about the success? And she said, why? And he said, why? And she said, well, she said something very simple, but very powerful. We get up and we go to work every day. We take this seriously. And I think that's very important. We've talked about mindset on this call before, but it's, you know, what is your mindset? I really, once I realized, and it took a few months before it actually kind of, I got the real picture, was that this could be something very powerful. And so I began to treat this with the power and the respect that a powerful business deserves, that a multi-million-dollar business deserves. And so I would encourage you to look at your business with the power that it can bring to your life, and really respect it and treat it as a business that, you know, is one that has such power. And you think about, how do you view yourself as far as your business is concerned? How do you see yourself interacting? You're the president of your own company. So I employ myself at a high level because I want to be paid at a high level. I think it's really important to also have a commitment to a positive outcome. Expect success. You heard Beth say, you know, we can all play at a higher level. I strive for that all the time, is, you know, how can I continue to stretch, to grow, to get better at what I do? So really that mindset, you know, of employing yourself, and at what level do you employ yourself? I think it's also really important to have a real clear identity of your own professional image. You know, we all have a professional image or a professional philosophy. Sometimes it's just a matter of identifying it. How do you see yourself professionally? I see myself as a team builder. I truly believe that, you know, our business is about stretching out, putting your arms around people and inviting them to be part of the mission and the team. Because I can reach a certain number of people personally from a product standpoint, but, you know, that's limited. So if I've got a team and that team continues to expand and that team continues to expand, then we wind up with the whole organization producing millions, which means that we're reaching so many people. So team builder, I see myself as a team builder, and I'm working at, you know, getting better every day. Also is, if you think about what's your job description, how do you see your description of what your activity looks like? I taught in a university for a number of years, and well, before that I taught kindergarten, but I was at the university when I came across this. And I can remember the recruiter for the football team had an office right down from mine. And when I came across this, it was one of the first times I had really heard about the word recruiting. And the only recruiter I knew was the recruiter for the football team. So I went down and I said, tell me, what does a recruiter do? And he says, well, he said, you try to find the very best in the land for what your goal is, and you put together a winning team. So my whole career has been to, really go through and invite as many people as possible, so the best in the land would show up for that winning team. Now, in my mind, it's, you look at people, they're just a long line out into infinity. They're stretched straight to the moon. We have just in this country, what is it, 350 million people? How many people? You could never run out of people. And so how are you going to go about telling your story? And so I'm going through the numbers. You're interested? No, move out of the way. You're interested? No, move out of the way. Doesn't mean that I don't care about those people who were not interested. It's just that there's no point in taking time to try to convince, because there's so many more waiting. And I think this is something that really holds people up right in the beginning sometime, is they feel like they want everybody to say yes. And definitely we do. We all have the desire. If you come across something and you love it and you know that it's a good idea and you want to share it with people, you want everybody to have the same feeling or the same vision. But really and truly, it may not be time for that person. It may not be ready for it. It may not be the thing that fits. So it's just a matter of how many people, how much exposure can you create to tell the story so that people have the opportunity to say yes. So how do you feel about what you do is really important too. Do you take pride in what you do? I'm really proud of the job I do. I love the company I'm with. I love the products. I really like the whole interaction of people helping people. I think it's a wonderful way to go through life. The marketing model, I'm one of the worst. I thought I'll never learn this thing. I won't understand where the money comes from. Well, what I realized was you really don't have to understand where the money comes from. If you share the story, they're going to pay you anyway. But over time, you begin to learn it as you are paid for what you do. Really important thing as far as foundational to a business is to stay connected. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about in particular tonight, is staying connected. As I start with any new team member, it's a daily conversation. We're connected. The whole goal, my goal to help that person grow up, my responsibility to help that person grow up, is how many people can we talk to together to tell this story to, so that we can invite them to be part of the team and be part of the mission. So if you're looking at our marketing model or our pay plan, as you say, what the most important thing to know is that you want to have as many people sponsored directly to you as possible. My sponsor, Jeff Roberti, I'll never forget when we first started, he looked at me and said, Cheryl, just go wide as possible and keep your strength close to you, meaning the people that you felt really strongly about that you wanted to be on your team. So one of the great blessings of our pay plan is that we have an infinity frontline, which means that you are entitled, you are, have the privilege of sponsoring as many people as you choose over time. Now, our plan itself requires that you have to have 3 eventually to go up into positions, and then eventually it's 5 that's required, but the company has to give you minimal requirements. No one wants minimal income. So if there's a secret, it is how many people over time consistently can you bring to your business on that front line, right directly to you. Then very quickly, as soon as possible, within just hours or the first few days, you want to help that new person get at least 2 or 3 or 4 team members too, because that solidifies it. That people will do more for each other. They'll be more responsible to other people, you might say, than they will to themselves alone. So I have learned over the years, and of course, again, I think we all learned from one another, came from my sponsor. But when I had someone who was new, who was directly to me, who really wanted this to work for them as well, from a business standpoint, is how fast could we put team together? And then for those people that became part of team, how fast could we help them get new team members? and then encourage that with. But as you encourage with, if you're talking about helping people get team members, what you're creating is vertical growth as well as horizontal growth. And so if that happens, and if you can do that 1, 2, 3, help people step into, they become a team member with you, they now have new team members who right away in their business, and they help those people have new team members. If you can do that 1, 2, 3 levels deep as fast as possible, you're going to ensure that your business will eventually have 4, 5, 6 generations, 7 generations. We're paid 5 generations deep, but your insurance is to have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 generations deep, because people come and go. There are those who, they're here for a little while. There are those who are here, for a long time. There are those who are here in a career like I am and many others. But if there's 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th line, then if anybody drips away, there's somebody that floats up that falls into those places to pay you those 5 generations as time goes on. So if there's any secret to it, it's, conversation, make friends, invite those friends to go on this mission with you, to be part of this desire to help other people. We've never had a market that was more receptive than we do right now. And we can say that in every way, in every direction, but I know everybody knows it. Is that from a standpoint of health and wanting to have a strong immune system, everybody wants it. They want it for themselves, their children, the people they love. If you happen to listen to the Level Up, Dr. Tamara Sachs, who's on our team, said, there's no such thing as being really healthy if you're living under financial stress all the time. So again, we have that to offer, people helping people. As you put that format together, you might say, if you look at that as the blueprint for your business, it's very important to stay connected. As I mentioned, with a brand new person, we're connected daily. And then you put traditions in place to stay connected. And you want to create traditions in your organization and participate in the traditions that are already part of the infrastructure. So if we think of this call has now, and thanks to Carol Turnbow and Josh, initially her sponsor, is the one who started this call. Carol carried it on, but it's become a tradition. So we know that we can come here on Thursday night and utilize this as a place for people to hear stories, to hear so many different stories, because we have a very large national marketing director team, and our national marketing director team, each one of the NMDs, they will take a week. And tonight Beth stepped into place for somebody who right at the last minute could not do it. So we all take care of each other in that way, but we have a tradition where that you can come and utilize this to help develop your business. And I would encourage you to, because the stories are what creates the validation for what you have to offer. So the other thing is the Monday night call. Monday night call has been happening for 33 years now, and we've never missed a Monday night. That in itself is, really a credit to everybody who participates in that call. But it's a tradition that's part of the infrastructure where you can immerse yourself into what's already in place to lift your business and hear information that creates inspiration, that creates knowledge, that also creates vision for the people who are brought to that event to view what we're about, but also it reinforces the belief in the strength of the people who are part of our business. So maybe we'll stop here for just a second and ask you all to chime in just a little bit as we come to I think we're close. Well, we've still got another 10 minutes. But if you happen to be on our Monday night call, as I just mentioned, Monday night, and if you met our new CEO, Stuart Kronagi, see if you can any of you give me some input on what were your takeaways from that call on Monday night, because it was, of course, on Zoom. We got to see each other, which was great. We got to really listen to her. Give me some input tonight. We've got, quite a number of people here, but maybe you can give me some feedback. Okay. Who'd like to share? What were your takeaways and what did you like about that call? Because we had 600 people on, so a few of you may have been there. Okay.
Hey, Cheryl, it's Peter Kyle. How are you?
Okay. Okay, great, Peter.
Yeah, I was on Monday night. I was actually driving home from work, but I thought your interviewing skills were excellent.
Well, I'm not worried about that. I want to know thank you very much, though.
No, I know.
Tell me what you thought about Stuart.
I think she's great. I mean, I've heard her talk before. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting her yet. I think she's very authentic. I think she's is a good fit for the company. Myself being a manager and a business owner, I think it's very important to be transparent with the people in your organization. Let them know where you're going, why you're thinking of going that way, and what the thought processes are behind it. Because you just come out and say, we're doing this, people are going to be very confused.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought she was explaining things very, very well, and she was giving a clear message. I'm excited to have her on board. I thought she was great.
Well, and I'm really in agreement with that. I love the authenticity. I love the transparency. I'm like you. I like to know where we're going and why we're going there. Okay. Our business, there are a lot of just very clear basics. If we talk about telling the story and how we get together to tell the story and how we support people in telling the story. But I think that there were a lot of things about her that I feel really fit the J. Martin philosophy, which has been the foundation of how we've become the culture of a company with a heart. So who else? Thank you. On your takeaways from that call Monday night, and it could be on Stuart, it might be on some of our speakers that followed. Our last speaker was a young woman who has created a record as far as going to national marketing director in this company in a year's time. And I see Charlene is on there. Charlene is one of our, she and Chandria were speakers as well. So who else would like to share with us?
I wanted to share, this is Charlene Woodruff. I apologize for not being on video.
And we were thrilled to have you on, by the way. You were one of the speakers. That's all.
Yes, it was a pleasure. But one of the things, she's so real and she's so honest and she's so down to earth, just like J. Martin. But the one thing that I took away, Cheryl, was when she said that most of the people who are partners are women. And she said, I love that this company has a lot of women who are business owners. Now, I had my business previously. I had a business here in Georgia. And one of the persons from the state who came out to do the audit said that other states, it wasn't as easy for women to own businesses as it was for men. So I had not thought about that with Juice Plus, but that was my takeaway with what she said, because there are a lot of women who are working with Juice Plus, and she really likes that, and I like that about her.
And I think this is an important thing to talk about, is that it's certainly not to in any way take away from the wonderful men that are in our business. But like you just said, Charlene, it's almost like it's expected of men to do well in business. And for a lot of people, and I know for myself, I had thought this, would be very part-time. Like I said, I really wanted to be able to send my children to college, and I knew I couldn't do it on a teacher's salary in Louisiana. So it was a real goal for me, but I didn't see myself. I mean, look at our organization today. If you think about how many companies even can, say we do 10 million in sales every month. We as an organization do that. And so, and it's all the way down the organization. It's not just in the first 5 levels, it's the whole organization. So that means that there are a lot of people making, serious money, but there's also, as I said, a lot of people who are being helped in many different ways. But I think the biggest shock for me too was, as my business was beginning to grow, I felt like I had entered or a door had opened for me that I didn't know existed. I never pictured myself as a woman being in business. You expected men to be in business, be good at business, but I just didn't know anybody, a woman who was. So I think what you're saying, Charlene, and what is so important here is it makes it possible for anyone who wants to pursue our business and have a strong, powerful business future and provide for their families to do so, whether you're a man or a woman. And there are many opportunities here that I think are limited to women in other aspects of business. So thank you. I think that was that's something that definitely should have been brought out as well. Who else? Anybody else want to share thoughts that they may have had from that call?
I have a thought. This is Sue from Virginia Beach.
Hi, Sue.
I loved the content, but one of the things I really loved was the intimacy of it.
Yes.
It was very up close and personal, and in many ways. And also Stuart shared of herself personally, but I liked the personal setting of this kind of a Zoom, and it felt very special.
And there's something about, and I always felt this about Jay Martin. I felt, and we've expressed it over the years, you felt like they kind of had your back, like you meant something. That, you know, we weren't, there are many companies, you know, in this profession, but you're not just a number here. Everybody counts, everybody's important. And I think that's one of the things that we always got from Jay Martin. And I think it's something that we felt from her the other night too, is that, as you said, there was an intimacy to it where you felt that there was a heart that was connected to each one of us, that we're not just numbers in her eyes. And that I think is definitely why this company is 51 years old, is because he came for money. And that has brought a great gift to all of us. So thank you, Sue. Very, very well said. Who else might share with us? Anybody else? Thoughts that you had maybe about that call? And there is a recording.
I'd love to say something.
Okay.
I just loved that evening, and I feel like Stuart has such humility, and I love that she said, you know, being a CEO is just, it's messy. She said it's like being a mother. You know, there are things you have to deal with that maybe no one else wants to deal with. And I just love that she would say that, and I feel that she's bringing to our company a woman's perception, and just understanding things that sometimes women perceive well. And I think, to me, she has this ability of being capable without being aggressive. And I find that so similar to you, Cheryl, that when I came into this company, I had no idea that I would meet someone like you. And, you know, that to be very strong without being fierce or predatory or even competitive in a way that can be hurtful. So strong in a loving way. I think it's remarkable, and I feel like she has that too. So
Well,
I'm so glad.
I felt that from her, and I thank you for that, for the compliment as well. But, you know, for me, and I guess that's why I identified with her when she said it was kind of like a mother. You had things to deal with that were messy, but we know about mothers is you don't mess with their babies. Okay. And that's the way I've always felt about my organization, is don't mess with my babies, is that. And I think that we all kind of got that feeling from her as well, is that she could do the job, but you weren't going to mess with her babies. And I like that. I like that. Who else might want to share with us here as we, you know, are right here at the end of this call? Anybody else? Well, anybody? Well, one of the things I want to do for this call too, and we'll ask LaToya Chin, she's the young woman at the very end of that call. And, you know, we were in a time frame. So I know she has a lot more to say about going to National Marketing Director in a year's time. I thought I'd have her come on sometime in the next week or two. I don't know when exactly, but have her come on with me and talk about, you know, really how she gathered team, how she stayed connected to team, connected to team, as far as helping them turn around and acquire team. Our product is definitely, it's stellar. It's a world-class product. It's simple. It's all of those things that make it easy to share, because everybody understands fruits, vegetables, berries, and omegas, but the power of it is huge. But if it's going to happen in a way that you access this pay plan at the highest level, there has to be serious team in place. People who are not only committed, but they love the mission. They love the whole idea of it. So my goal for us on this call is to invite you to, bring new people to this call and let the stories, do the work for you, you might say, validate the story that you've been telling about what it is. But also we want to concentrate on, you really stretching out and building those teams, building them wide, having the courage to invite people to be part of it. Because when you hear people's stories, not just from a product standpoint, but from a business standpoint, both of them, to encourage people to, be part of this mission with you. And let's really not only make the difference from a standpoint of helping people with their health, but really help them step out of the financial fear and uncertainty that so many people feel right now. I think that the one thing that makes a difference for people is if you feel like you have a measure of control in your health, and then of course in your ability to provide for yourself and your family, because it's something we all have to do, then there comes a strength and a confidence with that really makes life not only happier, but brings you that personal reward as well. So it's been a pleasure being on with you tonight.
Can I ask one last question? Can I
Sure,
ask one?
Sam. Sure.
Is there any chance, or when do you think we might get another video of you doing the explanation of the pay plan? Because your explanation of it is so much better than
Okay.
what's
Well,
available to me.
It's so interesting, Sam, that you should ask that. There was a little bit of a price increase, which had to happen because, as we know, inflation is, I feel like we're riding an inflation rocket ship to the moon, which I hate. But I have to make that little adjustment. And the way we're going to do that on the pay plan is I'm just going to put up at the top, customer price. But everybody's paid exactly the same way on the same amount we were being paid before. But that is something that I need to start doing here in the next week or two, is we've got to really double down, I guess you would say, on going through that pay plan again and making sure that everybody's real clear. I would encourage all of you to go to your virtual office and print off the worksheets for each one of the positions, because those give real clear directions on what's needed to go to the first position, the next, all the way up. And then get with the people on your team and see what their goal is for their next position. And then I'll get the pay plan shaped up with those few numbers, the little number adjustments, which is not much. And we'll start doing that again on a regular basis, Sam. That's something I'm not only glad you reminded me of, but something we definitely need to do, because really and truly, if you're going to cast a big vision, and you need to cast a big vision if you want to get the return from, the growth of your business and for people to do well, you really do need to fall in love with the pay plan and be able to show the full potential of it. So we'll get back to that. Thank you. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I just been hoping I could see one. I want to watch it again. I understood
Okay.
you so well compared to
Well,
what.
I'm gonna then beat y'all up with it, okay? Because to me, that was the most daunting thing, was the pay plan. But once you get it, you realize that it's limitless.
Yeah.
That it can be anything. Your business has no ceiling, and I
Yeah.
think that's really important. The other thing that I have a Mike Clifton up at the home office who is amazing with numbers. Actually, we talked about this today, and he's already worked on it, is to give me some variations of, like, if somebody says, I'd like to make $1,000 a month, what does that take? Or I want to make 2,000. When people start their businesses, usually they're thinking, if I can just add an extra 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000 to my household income, then that makes a huge difference. So we're going to put together some variations of, what does it look like from a distributor standpoint, or I should say partner standpoint, and, partners and customers, to be making $1,000 a month, to be making $2,000 a month, all the way to $25,000 a month. So we were going to put together some, I guess you'd call them little cheat sheets, where somebody says that if I could make $1,000 a month, this would be the most wonderful thing. Well, this is what you have to do right here. So to add to the marketing plan, I think that would help people a lot as well.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it a lot.
So I've got the home office working on that.
Thank you.
Real good.
Hi,
Okay,
Cheryl. Hi.
Yes,
Can I
hi.
ask you a question?
Here, Vanessa.
Okay. Well, I've been away for a couple years and I'm just coming back. Everything has changed.
Mhm.
Are there any training videos for the pay structure and also like customer care? Are there any?
Well, what Sam was just talking about was I do have a, a pay plan that did have a recording on it, and they've just changed a little bit. So I have to kind of update that. You can go to the virtual office and they explain it. It's just a little more intense and a little more complicated, but definitely we can go through all that. One of the things I would suggest you do is go to your virtual office and go through the Freedom Revolution. There's a lot there. You want to go to Juice Plus Insights, and there's a lot there. And who's your immediate upline or national marketing director?
Warlicia Fatah.
Oh, well, she's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Alicia knows what she's doing, and so does her upline too is Arlita Winston. And
Arlita, yes, yes. That's how I got on this call because Arlita sent this to me. So,
but
I've been
if I
away,
was-
so I'm just like, I feel like I'm brand new.
Well, but that's good. Just think
Yeah.
about yourself as brand new, because then everything that we have to offer, you'll have enough background that it'll be really easy. So we're really glad you're back, Vanessa. We left the light on just for you.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. And you know what? I'll just share this really motivating, a quick story. So, I have a grandson who has disabilities. He has autism and some intellectual impairments as well. He's recently gone to a group home. He's 19 now.
Mhm.
Everyone in the group home tested positive for COVID except him. Now,
Wow.
I can't make claims, but all I know is I've had him on Juice Plus ever since like 2018.
Well,
So,
you and of course, none of us can make claims at all, certainly, and especially in that direction. But we do have studies that show that Juice Plus does strengthen the immune system. It does help the body to, you might say, function in its highest level as far as taking care of itself. And so I know that Juice Plus makes a difference. I think we can always say that.
I believe that.
It definitely makes a difference. And I've always felt like I had that little extra shield of protection, around me because of Juice Plus. And the other thing for me, and I actually was talking to our company president the other day, Jay Martin, and I take a lot of extra Juice Plus if I feel like I'm around, anybody that might be ill or anything. I told him, I said, you don't have to worry about sales. I'm going to eat through the warehouse right by myself. Okay.
Right. Yes.
So don't ever be afraid of, if you are in a situation where you feel like you've had exposures to anything.
When I was in the hospital with COVID, that little Indian doctor came in there and he said, "You must have one heck of immune system." And he said, "People your age, they don't make it most time." And I
Well,
said,
damn, I didn't know you were in the
Wow.
hospital. I'm so glad you're okay.
well, the whole thing, I mean, the whole time I was there, I never had a temperature. My blood pressure never went up. I never had, my oxygen level stayed in the 90s.
Wow.
My brain was gone, but it still
Very
hadn't come back.
Well, it looks like it came back, so that's good to hear. Well,
Amazing.
I will say that everybody that I've known, we've had a lot of folks who've had it, and if we look through the organizations, and people seem to handle it pretty well. I don't, as I said, we can't make any claim whatsoever, but it's sure nice to hear that people are, handling whatever happens to them in a much.
I was over it in a week. 1 week is all I had.
Well, we're so glad you're okay. We love you.
And Sam got a lot of support and love from our community too. And I know that's good for the immune
Oh, that's a
system.
fact. You got no idea. You people made me, I don't know. I thought these people are treating me like I'm somebody special. I'm not anybody special.
Oh, you are somebody special.
I
So
got,
every-
this organization and then in the music business, I mean, Peter Noon is calling me. I mean, all the people I used to work with in the music business were, I thought these people, how they, I felt kind of out of place.
Oh, I think that that's the wonderful thing about this community, and we're so happy you're okay. And, that's something that I think for all of us, we have been blessed in this situation over the past 2 years. I know we've talked about, many of us, that if we didn't have this place to communicate and see each other, how much harder this whole experience would have been.
Yeah.
So we're lucky for that. Well, it's been a pleasure, everyone. Let's really work at having as many people on our Monday night calls. Really immerse yourself in those traditional things that keep people connected. Bring people to this call. Just, to hear the stories, to talk about the business, talk about, people want to be involved in things where there's joy and where there's support, and there's a huge situation in this country today, and I think the world, but I certainly see it all around, as far as just loneliness. And I think I heard Jay Martin say once, the day will come when we'll be the social life for everybody out there, because they're going to be so isolated. That was before we even knew about anything like pandemics. We thought they'd all be isolated at the computer. But I think we can make a huge difference in that regard too, because people need people. I'm convinced of that. And we bring that as well. So everybody have a wonderful evening and weekend. It's going to be Happy Valentine's Day to you on Monday. So we send out many hearts here tonight, and hopefully will join us on our Monday night call. So good night, everybody. Have a
Good
good
night. Thank you. Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much, Cheryl.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
And
everybody.
Beth, everyone, thanks for your insight, your input. I'm so glad to be back.
I was so glad